There are three different factors for me, actually. So it's flexible work policies, meaning tailoring the work policies to support flexibility in work hours. That means in locations, in recognizing the diverse needs people might have, their preferences they have. And we have different team members that are all across Europe, all across the world. And that means us making sure they have the time to, for example, pick up their children from school in between, for being able to visit a doctor in between, or work out during lunchtime. So making sure that's actually possible. That's one thing. On the other hand side, making sure there are regular check-ins. That means implementing a structured, regular check-in approach for all team members. That means we have, for example, weekly team updates. So the entire team gathers to check and see where do we stand at the moment. So what did we accomplish? What are we proud of? What do we want to share? And what are our wins? To look into it together, to celebrate one another, and to just not be disconnected, to still get together in those instances. And obviously also have one-on-ones. So with your direct manager, you would have one-on-ones to be able to check and see how you're doing, and also connect on a personal level. So it's not just work, but actually making sure you understand one another. Because I find in hybrid policies, not just in hybrid policies, but especially in hybrid policies, it's so important as a manager to understand your team member, to be able to tailor your approach to that one specific person, so you can actually get them, make the most out of the things that you can accomplish together. Number three, it goes without saying, but professional development, making sure you're continuously offering different opportunities for everyone to grow with. So growth mindset is one thing, to make sure to support it, to make sure to offer development opportunities for everyone that are tailored to their needs as well, matching the company's needs as well. So what I did previously as well is offer for the entire team little learning sessions. So it would be 20 minutes as a webinar where we would just sign on and have one expert talking about something they were really good at. So it could be a developer talking about how to code for beginners, for example. So those fun things to make sure you get your team on board. Most importantly, it's clear communication channels. So you need to make sure you establish a robust communication channel and with its platform to go with it as well. So you need to facilitate in a way that you can encourage an open dialogue among team members. So that includes obviously regular all hands meetings where you share different updates for people to know what's happening, for the teams to be able to catch up and see where things stand, where the challenges are, where growth potentials are, to be able to look into them together. And then the one-on-ones, of course. So what we do internally at deskbird is we have Slack as a communication tool. So whatever we have that doesn't require a lot of back and forth, we would just communicate on Slack. We would have huddles, mini calls on it if we need to align voice over. That really helps to see each other as well. If you have the video turned on, to get us touch and feel how the person is perceiving that feedback or information. Emails, if it's something official that's especially going to the outside world and you need to track it to be able to look into it. So setting that structure for clear communication is one. Two is building community activities. So that means organizing different types of activities. They can be virtual, they can also be physical. One or the other, it's a combination of both that's actually important and vital, because when we see each other and when we just look at it from a perspective of being remote or hybrid and never seeing each other, we only see this part to one another. We just really want to make sure that we get to know one another, to be able to understand how the person perceives the information, if the message got delivered or not, because communication is such a complex topic for us to look into with the culture to be able to get where we want to go to. So what we do is actually virtual coffees that we offer that can just be allocated with our donut tool on Slack and automatically assign people to you. Or we have some virtual events that we have on a team basis to just do some fun games together for 45 minutes or an hour from now and then. And then we also have those offsites that we call summits and bursts. So there's one where we get together with the entire company once a year, which is absolutely amazing because you see this joy in people's faces, getting together, celebrating our success together, getting to know one another. And we do the same thing in smaller groups at least once or twice a year with the name of bursts. So that way we can do it on a team-specific level. Then there's number 3 for me, the recognition programs. So we just really need to make sure to be able to recognize people and appreciate people. So that means implementing programs where you can have thank you channels. So we have a thank you channel on Slack where we just point out different successes or things that have been done, extra miles that have been gone, something that we're really, really proud of that we want to share so we can celebrate those wins that we had. You need to understand who you're speaking to and who you're dealing with and how to approach them, how to best make them happy, because just because you're celebrating them and appreciating them, that's not going to get you where you want to go. Having feedback mechanisms. So really enabling everyone to have a voice, really creating channel and making use of them as well for those feedbacks. So in the office, in the setup on site, you see the people, you see them on the hallway, you see them at the water cooler, you can get a sense of the people. But if you're in a hybrid setup or in a remote setup, you're not going to be able to sense and see what's going to happen once you sign off the channel, once you sign off the video call that you had. So you want to make sure to have, for instance, we use pulse checks, we use monthly Q&As, they're anonymous. If people want to put their names out there, it's absolutely also fine, and they want to speak about it, it's also fine. For us, it's about creating those platforms to make sure we have an employee NPS to get a touch and feel of where we stand right now and be able to connect it to the things that we've done. So check and see, is there a correlation of something that we have published in that month or the month before? Do we see a direction that this might have led us into of people being more happy or less happy? To just check and see those things as well. So, and on top of that, in my previous positions, I've also had Ask Me Anything sessions. Approach the founders to understand where we stand and have a platform where people can just raise their questions they might have. And then on the other hand side, it's the decision making as well. So it's making sure it's inclusive. So you want to make sure you address them right, you get the right data, and to make sure once you do take the decision, communicate it and give people an understanding why and how that will impact them. But just to make sure this is what it is, this is how it works, and that's where you find it, to simply make sure it's accessible for everyone. It's an immense role that's playing, really. So it's enhancing flexibility and autonomy. So if you enable your employees to schedule their in-office days and desks with how we do it with deskbird, for example, you can empower them with the flexibility to choose when and where they work. So they can choose who they want to sit next to, who they want to go to the office with on that day, if their favorite colleague is going to be there, if there's going to be an amazing event they want to attend, and to just simply get them pumped for it, to make sure they enjoy themselves along the way as well. So it's not just about getting things done, but actually having fun while you do it, because that's what gets you to the results. And having the tools to be able to enable your team, it's absolutely amazing. Looking into seamless communication and collaboration is the other one. So you want to make sure you have tools that enable you to work together with your people. So for us, it's, for example, the G Suite. So having Google Sheets, Google Docs, to be able to work on them together, but also Miro boards to be a bit more creative, to be able to use the technology from different aspects of not just doing the same thing all and over again, because we're human beings. Obviously, we love routine, and that's how we function best. But at the same time, we don't like to eat the same thing all day, every day as well. So it's about the mix-up that you do. And with the technology, we get a chance to do it. And that's actually the beauty out of it. So making sure we can use every type of different technology, and to sometimes maybe even say, let's turn off the camera to just get out of this meeting fatigue and just walk around a little bit and just do a walk and talk. So, and then most importantly, looking into the data aspects after it. So you want to make sure you use the technology that you have for decision making, because if you don't use it, you're just wasting it. So with the platforms, like for instance with deskbird, you can see in the end, is there any likelihood for people to go to offices on certain days? Is it certain events that attract people there? So you want to make sure that you can take the data and make the decisions for yourself for when it comes to planning as well. So you can go ahead and plan your office space accordingly and make sure to know what type of space do you need? How many employees do I have? How many like to go to the office? How many don't? Or what kind of policies am I going to cut out of them actually?